Hello, my name's Sharon Collard and I'm a Professor of Personal Finance at the University of Bristol. Today I'm talking about designing social purpose fintech using a UK case study, which is the Open Banking for Good programme run by Nationwide Building Society between 2018 and 2020. We at the university evaluated the Open Banking for Good programme and I'm drawing on those findings today. I want to start by defining some of the terms I'm using. So FinTech or financial technology is about providing financial services primarily through technology-enabled mobile and online platforms. So on a day-to-day basis, that might be things like banking apps that we use and money management apps. Social purpose FinTech is really about supporting innovative FinTech ideas that have a social purpose. And that social purpose might be things like helping to increase people's financial well-being or expanding access to financial services. We also understand about social purpose fintech that in a competitive environment, it might struggle to attract commercial backing and so need other types of funding. Lastly, I just wanted to mention open banking, which is a relatively new technology that allows consumers to securely share their bank transaction data with third-party providers, and those third-party providers often being fintechs as well. So let's have a look at the Open Banking for Good programme. Nationwide's purpose in setting up the programme was to design and build open banking enabled apps and services to help the 12.7 million people in the UK who are financially squeezed. In setting up the programme, Nationwide was really keen to use a grounded innovation approach. Grounded innovation is using innovation to solve real and grounded challenges. So what does that mean in practice? Well, the idea of it being real is that the challenges are evidenced. They're things that really exist and that people face in their day-to-day lives. The grounded part of it means that you need to involve experts who have a really deep understanding of the challenge, as well as users who regularly face that challenge. From Nationwide's perspective, using a grounded innovation approach was a way of overcoming a problem that it saw in innovation and fintech of geeks designing for other geeks. So let's look at how grounded innovation worked in Open Banking for Good. There's three core elements really of grounded innovation. The first is around bringing together three groups of experts, and they are process experts, user experts and solution experts who all have a role to play. The process experts in Open Banking for Good were Nationwide's Open Banking for Good team, a three-person team who really were the driving force behind implementing the programme and also making sure that the different expert partners were able to work together effectively. The user experts in Open Banking for Good were the charity partners, and these were organisations that were involved in some way in working with people who were financially squeezed, either as frontline service delivery organisations or campaigning on behalf of people who are financially squeezed. The Nationwide Open Banking for Good team engaged very early on with the charity partners as user experts, bringing them in right at the ground floor in order to make sure that the Open Banking for Good programme was really grounded in the experience of people who are financially squeezed. The solution experts in Open Banking for Good were the fintechs who successfully applied to be part of the programme. The second aspect of grounded innovation is around creating time and space for innovation. Nationwide did this within the Open Banking for Good programme, really in the way that it funded the fintechs who took part. Nationwide basically offered money on the table to the fintechs to enable them to go away and conduct research and design and develop their innovations to address the key challenges that had been identified. This meant that the fintechs had a great deal of financial freedom and a safe environment in which to go away and innovate. A knock-on effect of that was really that they were able to bring social purpose and social value into the heart of what they were doing. This was in contrast to some of the other funding models for fintech that exist, like competitions where fintechs might participate and get a prize at the end, or models where fintechs are required to give up some of their equity in order to take part in a programme. The third aspect of grounded innovation is around fostering collaborative learning through co-creation. So Nationwide's Open Banking for Good team was really pivotal in bringing together the expert partners to work together in a collaborative way that fostered mutual learning. And that was really important because it was a way of breaking down powerful sectoral barriers that exist between user experts and solution experts, where very often the user experts are the weaker in the partnership. That was part of the reason why Nationwide brought in the user experts, the charity partners, very early on, so that they were really in the driving seat of the whole programme. So just thinking about some lessons for the future from the Open Banking for Good programme, I think there's three main things we can learn from it. The first is around organisational remit, which I've kind of touched upon already. It's really important to understand the different ways of working between the different groups of experts, and in particular, the user experts and the solution experts in the case of Open Banking for Good. In Open Banking for Good, the solution experts, the fintechs, are really incentivized to move fast and break things. So they're very agile organizations who want to get on with things very quickly. In contrast, the charity partners have a much more prescribed remit, and they have accountability to their trustees and to the charity regulators. So I think what we learned is that it's important to allow time and space for those negotiations to take part about how the user experts and the solution experts are going to work together. In that process, Nationwide's Open Banking for Good team played a really pivotal role in terms of facilitating, navigating and translating between the user experts and the solution experts. Linked to that point about organisational remit is one of resource. It's really important using a grounded innovation approach to make sure that the user experts are properly resourced so that they can fully and effectively take part in the activities. In the Open Banking for Good programme, the charity partners, as so often with charities, were very tightly resourced and didn't have much capacity in order to undertake their kind of role in the Open Banking for Good programme. And what that meant was that charity partners were often doing Open Banking for Good activities alongside their day jobs and kind of doing them off the side of their desk, which meant that they couldn't kind of give it their full attention. So I think it's really important that we think about how we resource user experts to make sure that they can fully and effectively take part. The final lesson is around access to data and user testers. Innovators and fintechs, in this case, are generally very data hungry organisations. And part of the attraction for the fintechs in Open Banking for Good was to team up with charity partners in order to be able to access, have some access to service users and clients as research participants and user testers. It transpired that that wasn't really possible within Open Banking for Good because of issues like client consent to having their data used in that way. So it was then a case of thinking about some creative workarounds to make sure that there was data and user testers that the fintechs could use for their solutions that they were developing. So I hope that's given some insight into designing social purpose fintech using a grounded innovation approach. Our evaluation reports are available on our website if you'd like further information. Thank you.